Okay, in chapter 13, remember we learned third declension endings, right? So you can tell that a noun is of the third declension when the genitive ends in an IS. Okay, genitive IS equals third declension. In chapter 14, we learned the masculine and feminine third declension endings. Blank, IS, I, EM, E, ES, UM, IBUS, ES, IBUS, right? And we noted a couple unique things here that, like I said, the genitive IS is what makes this third declension, right? That the nominative is just a blank because there is no cohesiveness amongst all the nominative cases. There's no pattern to how the nominative words end. Okay, so we just put a blank because they're all a little bit different. So in this chapter, chapter 15, we are going to learn third declension neuter. Okay? So what I want you to do is think back to second conjugation. Okay? Remember way back in Latin 1 where we learned US, ER, IOUM, OIORUM, IS, OS, IS, right? That's second masculine. And then I taught you second neuter, right? UMIOUMO, AORUMIS, AIS, okay? And then I asked you, how do these two differ? And we circled these three spots, right? And then I told you that for neuter nouns, not just of the second declension, but all neuter nouns, the nominative and the accusative cases are the same. UM, A, and A, right? So let's go back up here and talk third declension, and you're going to see some correlation. So for neuter third declension, let's look at our endings. Blank, IS, I, blank, E. A, UM, IBUS, A, IBUS. What do you notice? If this is a blank, this has to be a blank because nominative and accusative cases are the same. Do you see this? Nominative and accusative cases are the same. And look, it's the same spots that are different. The only things that are changing between these two are the nominative and accusative cases. Look at how these become an A. What did your second neuter become? An A. So there's definitely some patterns here. Do you see that? That's all this chapter is. You know how to spot a third declension noun. It has a genitive IS. Whether it's masculine or feminine or now neuter. You know that that nominative case is going to differ for every single word. That's why we just put a blank. And you know for neuter nouns, whether it be second declension or third declension, or later on when we learn fourth declension, that for neuter nouns, whatever the nominative is, the accusative has to follow. They are the same. You know how to decline nouns. Nothing has changed. You just need to remember to use your neuter endings with your neuter vocabulary. So let's look at our new vocabulary. Our new vocabulary is on page 84. Okay. And I'm just going to, just for fun at the top of the paper, I'm just going to rewrite out my endings. So we have third masculine and feminine, we have third neuter. Blank, I-S-I, E-M-E, E-S, U-M, I-B-U-S, E-S, I-B-U-S. And then for neuter, we have, I'm just gonna, in a different color, do where it differs. So blank, I-S-I, blank, E-A, U-M, I-B-U-S, A, I-B-U-S. Remembering that nominative and accusative always have the same endings for neuter. So we know for all third declension, the genitive will end in an IS. That's how you can spot third declension. We know that the nominative is always different, meaning there's no pattern. So that's why we just put a blank. You have to memorize the nominative, right? You have to memorize the nominative. There's no pattern. Okay, good. Let's try to decline one together. Remember, for third masculine and feminine, we had words like soror, sororis, pater, patris, mater, matris, rex, regis. Let's look at some third declension neuter nouns. And then we'll define a few together. So we have caput, capitis. Okay? Capit is going to be your stem. What is caput? What's decapitate? You're cutting what off? Head. That's where we get this word, that's where we get that phrase decapitate. Caput. Head. What's its gender? Neuter. They're all neuter. Good. Okay, Caesar. Caesar. Caesaris just means Caesar. And of course this is masculine, right? Because that would have been definitely a male. So why do they put that in here? Just so you can continue to remember how to decline a third masculine noun. Okay, Carmen, Carminus. Song, and it is of course neuter. Corpus, corporis. It is neuter, meaning what? What's a corpse? A body. Diligentia, diligentii. Guys, this is a first declension feminine noun. A-A-E, right? Meaning diligence or care. We're going to kind of box that one out because it's a little different, right? It's not third neuter like the rest. Flumen, fluminous. River, also neuter. Iter, itineris, Notice all of these genitives have that IS. That's what makes them third declension. It is neuter for journey. What's an itinerant worker? Someone who goes on a journey, they're traveling, they're going from place to place, right? What if you make an itinerary? That's like your map for your journey, right? Okay, nomen. Nominus. Yep, name. Neuter. All of these are third neuter. Tempus. Temporis. For time. Right, we have above our clock, tempus fugit, time flies. So you just didn't know that tempus was a third declension neuter noun. And then lastly, woolness, vulnerus, which is wound. If you're vulnerable, what does that mean? It means you're open to being wounded, right? Okay, and then the last 4 words that they give you, you may think you've already seen these. Germanus, German. Do you feel like you've seen that before? In Latin 1 today, I introduced the word Germania. That's Germany. The noun, the place, Germany. This is the adjective German. So this is the adjective German. That's why there's an us, Okay, this is the adjective. Describing somebody as German. Or we could describe somebody as Greek. So these are adjectives. Or we could describe somebody as Spanish. Or lastly, of course, Roman. Okay, don't confuse it with the noun Roma, Romi. Okay? Which is Rome, which is a noun. All right, so really important. These are adjectives. That's why we have our us, options. Here's our third declension neuter nouns, all ending with this is genitive. Okay, let's practice and decline one together. Let's practice and decline one together. So still using our endings. Let's decline caput, capitis, and then you're going to have the chance to decline the rest of them. So nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. So you're going to do this exact same thing with all the rest of your nouns here as we're doing up here. So the adjective is caput, or I'm sorry, the noun is caput, capitis. You have to find your stem. Remember, your stem is everything before the is. So capit is your stem. Capit, capit, capit. Okay, one thing to note here. I almost messed up on this. Nominative and accusative are not getting that stem. They are just in the normal form, caput, right? Just that line, that dash. So could put blank, I-S, I, blank, E, E-S-U-M, I-B-U-S, E-S, I-B-U-S. And then you're gonna define them, right? So, head of the head, to or for the head. Head being used as the direct object on the head. Or if on the plural side, all of these will be heads up, right, plural. Notice the nominative and the accusative here are taking on just this basic form. The rest of them have the same stem. Okay, let's try another one. So the next one, let's do Carmen, Carminus. So Carmen, Carminus. All right, we need to find the stem, right? Everything before the IS. There's your stem, Carmen. We know that for nominative and accusative, though, we're going to just use the first, Carmen and Carmen, right? Those represent just our blanks. Okay, we see where I got that? Then you fill your stem in. So blank, I-S, I, blank, E, E-S, oops. Ooh, what did I do? A, U-M, I-B-U-S, A, I-B-U-S. What needs to change up here? A, whoops, it's really easy if you go too fast, isn't it, to revert back to those third masculine feminine. Yep, so we have to go slow. We need to remember these, right? So this is song. Carmen, song, or songs of the song, or songs, to or for the song or songs. Song or songs is the direct object, and then maybe by the song, or songs on the plural side. Be careful as you're declining with Kaisar, Kaisaris, that's masculine. Diligentia, diligentii, that's first declension feminine. The rest are neuter. You do not have to decline your adjectives.